I'm a man who has never baked or made any kind of dessert in his entire life, so it's probably about time I learned how. With this impressive, fruity, creamy baked cheesecake recipe that's so simple, even I managed to pull it off. I'm also going to be attempting a homemade coulis to drizzle on top of the cheesecake just to add a little pizzazz. Here's everything I used, and I'll leave a link to the recipe in the description below. Whilst I was out collecting the ingredients, this food processor caught my eye, which I thought would help us with the coulis and to make the breadcrumbs. Probably not necessary, but I think it would definitely help. Step 1 is to make our buttery biscuit base, which is just a combination of butter, lots of butter, and some biscuits. I was told digestives are the go-to British biscuit for any cheesecake base. I pile them into the food processor until fine and consistent, then add the butter. The recipe says to blend until the mixture looks like wet sand. I think we got it. Now we want to take our baking tray thing, and it says to invert the bottom of the dish. This will help with removal later on. Then before reassembling, we want to cover the base with greased baking paper. And this is where I seriously struggled. Cutting the paper into shape was easy enough, but trying to line the paper up and close the damn thing was such a pain in the ass. I had to have my partner help me off camera, and there we go. Now we can take our base mixture and add it to the tray, being sure to remove any sharp objects. And we need to push the mixture into shape. This felt like a pottery class or something, flattening the bottom and moulding all the walls into shape. And for a first attempt, I'm actually really happy with this. Now we can move on to our cheesecake batter. First, we need to zest a lemon and keep what's left because we'll use that for our coulis later. Then we're going to take all of our cream cheese and mix this into a bowl until smooth and consistent. And I promise you, this step was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in the kitchen. The cream cheese was so dense and thick, making it tricky to mix without the cream cheese building up in the center of the whisk. Apologies, I keep going off camera here, but I was seriously struggling. There's probably many easier ways to do this, but we got there in the end. Now we're gonna add some flour, the lemon zest, vanilla extract, and an absolute heap ton of sugar. Then add the eggs one by one and mix until smooth and consistent. Turning this into this was honestly one of the greatest feats of strength I've ever accomplished. And now it's time to add the batter to our base, right to the top. And now that's ready to go into the oven for about 50 minutes. And while that's baking, we can move on to our coulis. We're going to need some frozen strawberries, some lemon juice, I'll be using the one I zested earlier, and a heap ton more sugar. We're going to heat up our strawberries on a medium heat until the strawberry juice starts to bubble. Now we can mash the strawberries and then blend them with the food processor. Now I'm going to add the sugar and the lemon, give it a mix and leave to simmer for about 3 minutes. It looked a bit foamy or milky, but that does sort itself out later on. Once that's done, we can strain to remove any seeds or imperfections and place that in the fridge. After about an hour, we can remove our cheesecake from the oven. And how wonderful and fluffy does that look? It smells incredible. Our coulis has also thickened and gone slightly glossy and see-through. It looks great. Now to take the ring off the cheesecake. This part was so nerve-wracking. I was scared the whole thing was just going to implode in on itself. It looks great, I'm so happy with this. The walls look awesome. Time to add the topping. Some coulis, being sure to leave a trail for dramatic effect. Then some fresh berries. Then a light dusting of icing sugar. And there we have it. This was incredible. Not too heavy, smooth vanilla with a hint of lemon. For a first attempt at dessert, I am beyond happy with the results. I urge any first time dessert makers or even pros to give this a try. I had a blast making this video. Thank you so much for watching.